AITA for smiling at my best friend's engagement to my ex while secretly planning revenge? I've been holding on to this for months, and honestly, after everything that happened, I think writing it all down might help me understand how the hell things got this way. So yeah, this is what happened. I'm 29 and work in consulting at one of those big firms where everyone is young, overworked, and pretends to enjoy the team-building games. I started right out of college with my best friend, Owen, also 29. We'd been tight since sophomore year. We met on a group project that turned into late-night study sessions and then into being roommates. We were polar opposites, but it worked somehow. I was the more focused, quiet one. I did my thing without drawing attention. Owen was the extro-charismatic, handsome, always had a witty line ready. You know, the kind of guy who can show up late and still make everyone laugh and get a round of applause. When we both landed jobs at the same company, it felt like a huge step for both of us. We were in the same induction group and started climbing from there. Over time, we built a circle of friends with others who started around the same time. Weekly lunches, long nights at the office, meme chats, the whole vibe. And that's where I met Ava. Ava, 28, was part of another group of new hires. She joined a few months after us. She was smart, chill, and easy to talk to. We didn't connect right away, but eventually, we started having lunch together, talking more, and before I knew it, we were seeing each other outside of work. It felt natural. She got my humor, played along with my sarcasm, and didn't mind that I wasn't the flashy type. Owen was there for all of it. In fact, he was one of the people who pushed me the most to make a move. I remember one night when we were stuck at the office doing a system migration cleanup, and he said, "Are you just going to keep flirting, or are you going to do something about it?" I laughed it off, but yeah, that was him, loud, insistent, confident, but in a way that made you think he meant well. When Ava and I officially got together, she fit into the group quickly. Everyone liked her, especially Owen. They joked around a lot. She always said he was hilarious, that it was cool we were best friends. She once told me she found it rare, in a good way, that two guys had a friendship like ours. And honestly, I thought so too. About 2 years into the job, I proposed. We were already living together, and everything was stable. I saved up $10,000, bought the ring, planned the outing, did the whole thing right. She cried, said yes. She posted the picture with a cheesy caption about soulmates, and I was on cloud 9. The first person I told was Owen. He was thrilled, hugged me, slapped me on the back, and started brainstorming ridiculous ideas for the bachelor party before I could even finish telling him. When I asked him to be my best man, I saw him get emotional for the first time. He said it was an honor and that he was proud of me. I believed every word. Looking back, that's the part that hurts the most, because in that moment, I really thought everything was fine between the three of us, Ava, Owen, and me. I felt like my future was set, a fiancé I loved, a best friend who had my back, and a decent job that was starting to pay off. Everything seemed fine, no weird signs, no tension. If anything, Owen was still the same old Owen, telling dumb jokes, flirting with waitresses, showing up late to meetings, and still getting praised for being innovative. I don't know how he did it, honestly. He was one of those guys who just coasted on charm. Meanwhile, I was working 60-hour weeks to keep our projects from falling apart. Still, it didn't bother me. That was our dynamic. I was the fixer, he was the face. I thought it balanced us out. I didn't know it at the time, but I was already sitting on a pile of kindling. I just hadn't seen the match yet. Things started to change a bit after the engagement. Nothing major, just little things. And I'm not the paranoid type. I don't spin theories because someone takes a while to text back. I trusted her. But yeah, the vibe started to feel off, and I didn't know if it was just me being sensitive or if something was really changing. Ava began to pull away subtly, like she was physically present but mentally somewhere else. I'd ask what was wrong, and she'd give me a soft smile and say, "Nothing. Just tired." And that was the thing. She always seemed tired, not physically, but emotionally, like even being with me took effort. But I kept thinking it was just a phase, that we were stressed, and that once the wedding stuff passed, we'd be fine again. I remember one weekend. We planned to visit my parents. They were having a cookout. Nothing special. Burgers, drinks, catching up. She canceled at the last minute. Said she wasn't feeling well. "I'll make the next one," she said. But there was no next one. After that, she started dodging more things. My family, my friends. even little traditions we had. Our Friday nights of Thai food and binging procedural dramas disappeared. Now it was solo dinners, and I have a headache. Can we talk later? And then came the day I'll never forget, the day she sat across from me at our favorite lunch spot. Same table, same order. I asked if she wanted to go look at floral arrangements after work. She looked down and said, "I can't do this anymore." It felt like she was reading from a script, her voice trembling and teary, and it knocked the wind out of me. I stared at her, not understanding. What do you mean?" She fidgeted with the napkin on her lap. "I've been feeling wrong for months. I didn't want to hurt you, so I tried to push through it, but I feel suffocated. I feel like I'm living someone else's life. I don't think I'm in love with you anymore." At first, I couldn't even process it. A week earlier, we were talking about where to go for our honeymoon. 2 weeks earlier, she was lying next to me, laughing at that dumb movie we watched after a bad day at work. A month earlier, we were at her mom's house talking about wedding cake flavors and whether we should do a destination wedding. "I don't get it," I finally said. "We've had rough patches before, but we worked through them. You never said you were unhappy." She just shook her head and said, "I didn't want to make things worse. You've been busy with the promotion, and I didn't want to add more pressure, but I don't want to rush into a marriage just because we've been together a long time. That's not fair to either of us." I just nodded, because what else can you do when someone tells you they're not in love with you anymore? Cry, plead, beg. I'm not that guy. We didn't even argue. I just paid the bill. We walked to the parking lot, and I watched her drive away in her car as if we hadn't spent the last 4 years building something together. The days that followed felt like someone had cut the power in my head, because even when you feel something is off, you don't expect the person you build a life with to just throw it all away with a single sentence over lunch. Nothing felt real. I went to work, but I was barely there. I'd stare at my monitor as if I was waiting for it to tell me what to do. I'd come home to an apartment that still had her mug in the sink, her coat hanging up, and her damn planner next to the bed, as if she was going to walk back in at any moment. I didn't tell anyone at first, not even Owen. I thought maybe she'd come back, that maybe she was just overwhelmed and needed a break. That's what people do, right? They get scared and then realize they made a mistake. But she didn't come back, and a week later, she got her things and left a note that said, "I'm sorry I couldn't be the woman you deserved. Please don't hate me." That line haunted me. I wasn't even angry, just empty. Owen was the first to notice. He came into my office one afternoon, leaned against the doorframe, and asked, "You okay, man? You look like you haven't slept in a week." I looked at him and tried to fake it, but I guess my face gave it all away. "She's gone," I mumbled. Said she couldn't do it, that she wasn't in love anymore, felt suffocated, didn't want to rush things. She ended it. Owen didn't say anything at first, just stood there, taking it in with a tight jaw, like he was searching for the right words. Then he came over and sat across from me. "Damn, man, I'm sorry. That's rough." I nodded. Didn't even see it coming. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "Want to go out for dinner? Clear your head a bit. We could hit up that wing spot we used to go to after pulling overtime." I didn't feel like eating, didn't feel like doing anything, but I said yes, because being alone in that apartment was worse than forcing an awkward conversation over wings. Owen drove. He talked most of the way, told dumb stories from college, tried to make me laugh. It didn't work, but I appreciated the effort. "You were good to her," he finally said. "Don't let this mess with your head. Sometimes people just change, and it's not on you." I stared out the window. "She doesn't know what she lost," he added, patting my shoulder. "You're the most solid guy I know. You'll get through this." And he kept saying things like that over the next few weeks. He'd check in, ask me to hang out, took me to lunch at work once. The guy was present, I'll give him that. Everyone else was either walking on eggshells or avoiding the subject, but Owen acted like I was still the same person, as if I wasn't falling apart inside from a breakup I never saw coming. And maybe that's what I needed. It took me a while to get back into a rhythm. I'd find myself staring at her desk across the room, wondering if she missed me, wondering if she felt relieved. I stopped looking at her social media, deleted our pictures from my phone, packed her things in a box, and burned a few bridges in my head I knew I couldn't cross again. Even if I wanted to, I wasn't okay, but I was functioning. Barely. Owen kept showing up, and for a while, I really believed he was just being a good friend. So yeah, things got weird, not just between her and me, but with the whole friend group. Nobody knew what to say. Everyone started treating me like I was a fragile statue, about to crack if they said the wrong thing. I wasn't mad at them. I got it. But I also couldn't keep going to the same office, walking past the desk where she used to sit, pretending I was fine. So, I requested a transfer. Same company, just another branch. I told HR it was for professional growth and exposure to a new division. But the truth was, I needed to breathe. I needed a space where I wasn't constantly reminded of her perfume, her laugh in the break room, or that damn engagement ring that was still sitting in my drawer like a relic from a museum of bad decisions. The new office was fine, the people were quiet, work was work. I became hyper-focused. First one in, last one out. When you're heartbroken and feel like you're carrying weights on your chest, staying busy is a matter of survival. I hit deadlines, took on more clients, even got put on an accelerated project management track. Honestly, a part of me didn't care if I burned out. Anything was better than being home replaying her words. I just don't feel the same anymore. I need to find myself. Owen and I barely talked. At first, it wasn't weird. We were both swamped with meetings and deliverables. We'd still send the occasional text. See that memo from the board? A disaster. Or wings this weekend. But the plans always fell through. One of us was busy, tired, or just not in the mood. It's how friendships were down when life starts pulling you in different directions. A slow fade, not a clean break. I actually missed him. I missed that version of my life where everything felt stable. It's incredible how quickly it can all become a blur. One moment you're picking out wedding venues. The next you're figuring out how to unlink Spotify accounts. I tried to date again, sort of phone dinner with a friend of a friend. She was nice. I wasn't. My mind was somewhere else the whole time. She asked me what I was looking for, and I just drew a blank. I couldn't even answer her. The only thing I could think about was how loud the silence had gotten since I left that branch. And the worst part was, I didn't know how to get over someone who didn't cheat, didn't yell, didn't lie. She just looked at me one day and decided I wasn't enough. I was trying to piece myself back together while pretending I was fine. My boss started joking that I was a machine, that I didn't even blink, that I was built for corporate life. Maybe it was true, or maybe I was just trying not to feel anything. That branch transfer saved me in a way. It gave me space to breathe, a reset. Then, a few months later, things started to feel somewhat normal. Not healed, just numb, which was already better than replaying every word she said during the breakup. I was starting to feel like maybe I could move on, until I got a text from Owen. Hey man, any chance we can meet up this week? Need to talk to you about something in person, not over text. The instant I read it, I felt a knot in my chest. It wasn't the words, it was the tone. That not over text. I knew right then something was wrong. We met on a Saturday at a coffee shop halfway between our branches. I walked in, saw Owen first, and then I saw her, my ex. Sitting next to him, her hair pulled back, no makeup, wearing the same denim jacket I helped her pick out for our anniversary trip to Seattle. Hi, she said, no smile, just an awkward glance. Owen stood up and gave me one of those half hugs you give when you know you're about to let someone down. I sat. I didn't touch the coffee they'd ordered for me, just looked at them, waiting for the punchline. Owen cleared his throat. This is hard, and we didn't want to say it over the phone. She looked at me, her eyes down. We're seeing each other. And just like that, the floor opened up beneath my feet. I didn't speak, didn't yell, didn't even react. I just stared at them as something cold settled in my stomach. Owen looked wrecked. It didn't start until after you broke up. I swear, nothing happened while you were together. She nodded as if she needed to back him up. I was already confused back then. I didn't leave you for him. Things just clicked afterward. Clicked, I asked, my voice hollow. She flinched. I didn't plan this, Owen said, leaning forward. You're like a brother to me. You know that. I'd never hurt you on purpose. I smiled and said, it's all good. You guys deserve each other. That shut them both up. The rest of the conversation was a blur of awkward justifications. We wanted to be honest. We didn't want to sneak around. We thought you deserved to know. I didn't get up in a rage, didn't flip the table, just nodded and left without touching my drink. My hands were shaking when I got back to my car. I don't know what hurt more, that she'd moved on so fast, or that she'd done it with him, the one guy I trusted, the one I called my brother, the one who knew what she meant to me and still went after her. It wasn't jealousy, it was betrayal. The slow kind, the kind that doesn't scream, just empties you out. What a joke. That night, I deleted every photo, every conversation, every calendar reminder that had to do with her. I muted Owen's number, didn't block it. I wanted him to see that I read his apology text and didn't reply, because silence says what words can't. And just like that, the friendship was over. The engagement was history, and the part of me that still believed people like them wouldn't hurt Medhat part died in a coffee shop at 4:07 in the afternoon. A couple of days after that awkward moment with Owen and my ex, the company hosted a big event to celebrate the opening of the new branch. Formal dinner, ties, speeches, the whole corporate spectacle. They invited all the departments, even the executives. Honestly, I almost didn't go. I'm not a fan of dressing up or shaking hands with people who only remember your name when you achieve something. But my manager insisted, said it was important for visibility. So I went, clean-shaven, well-dressed, with my usual confidence, no faking it. The place was decorated to the nines, chandeliers, ridiculously expensive catering, photographers. Someone in marketing went crazy. I spent most of the night talking with my team and avoiding unnecessary small talk. Every now and then, I'd feel eyes drift from me to Owen and her across the room. Yeah, they showed up together. Big surprise. I kept my expression neutral. Then my manager, a cool, straightforward guy, got on stage to give his little toast. He hyped everyone up about the company's growth, talked about how proud they were of the expansion, and then he shifted his tone. And there's one person in particular who deserves a special mention tonight. He led one of the highest-performing cross-branch projects of the quarter and made sure it came in ahead of schedule and under budget. A true asset to the team. Congratulations on your promotion, Daniel. Applause. A lot of it. People clapping, whistling. I stood up, shook the man's hand, gave a brief nod to the crowd. I didn't gloat, didn't smile too wide. I handled it like someone who's used to getting things done. That kind of attention makes some people uncomfortable, especially those who once thought you were beneath them. When I sat back down, I saw Owen looking at me. Not in a friendly way. It was that tense, jaw-clenched, chin-up look insecure men get when they realize they can't outshine you anymore. She looked tense too, not happy like you'd expect. That made me curious. And then, because life loves irony, those two stood up and clinked their glasses. Hey everyone. Owen started, awkward but faking confidence. We just wanted to share some personal news, since we're all here. I asked this incredible woman to marry me, and she said yes. The engagement party is next week, and you're all invited. Cheers. A few gasps of surprise. Several people looked from them to me. I just sat there, back straight, sipping my water like it was just another announcement in a meeting. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction, but Owen didn't stop there. He said the next part with a stupid half-smirk. And hey, at least one of us managed to keep their job. A few nervous chuckles from the laugh at anything to not seem out of place crowd. My ex just gave an arrogant little shrug and leaned into him like they were co-stars in a sitcom. I stood up. I didn't make a scene, didn't shout, just got to my feet, walked slowly with my glass in hand, looked them both in the eye, and said, loud enough for several tables to hear, "Congratulations." She always did like finding her upgrades in the clearance section. Dead silence. A few stifled laughs. A guy from HR nearly choked on his wine. Owen looked like he wanted to fire back a witty line, but the words wouldn't come. She tried to laugh it off like it didn't hurt, but the way her face trembled told me it landed. I turned, went back to my table, and finished the night chatting with a few executives who were far more interested in my plans for Q3 than any personal drama. Let them have their announcement. I had something better, my dignity, my salary, and the respect of the people who actually matter. They have each other. I got promoted. You tell me who really won. Something inside me clicked. The spiteful me would have responded with drama. The smart part of me smiled, nodded, and planned. As soon as Owen threw out that comment about keeping a job, I made a decision. No shouting, no impulsive texts, no emotional meltdowns, just execution. This time, professional. You see, back when Owen and I were still close, he used to do some shady things at work. Nothing that would get you handcuffed, but definitely things you wouldn't want the compliance department to see. He always had some angle, cutting corners, inflating hours, fudging project expenses. I'd find out and call him on it directly. That's not how I work. He'd laugh and say, "Come on, man, you gotta work the system before it works you." But hey, You know who to call if you ever grow a spine. I just shake my head and walk away. I wasn't built like him. But after that engagement surprise, I realized I was sitting on more information than I thought. So I started digging quietly, no drama, no hints. I still had access to some shared folders from old projects, archived emails, expense reports from our joint initiatives, and timelines that didn't add up. I cross-referenced invoices, checked client sign-offs, compared travel expenses with meeting logs. Let's just say Owen was careless, very careless. He was billing for phantom consultations, expensing international travel for local calls, and worst of all, manipulating project budgets to skim off the top and then blame others when deliverables were late. All hidden behind flashy presentations and buzzword-filled speeches that distracted upper management. I saved everything: screenshots, email headers, metadata, full PDF reports. I wasn't just gathering evidence. I was building a case so solid it would make a lawyer weep with joy. And here comes the good part. The morning of their engagement party, I scheduled an anonymous mass email. Burner account, VPN enabled, all metadata scrubbed. The email went out to every employee, manager, senior executive, and even the head of HR. The subject line was simple: "Congratulations to the happy couple. Here's what you're really celebrating." I attached multiple folders named by project with annotated files, summaries, and visual breakdowns of Owen's fraud. Irrefutable proof, no guesswork, just facts. I even included an index document summarizing everything with quotes and timestamps like a trial exhibit. And yes, I sent it to Ava too, with a special message: "Get ready for a lifetime of cover-ups and quarterly audits. Congrats again." I also sent it to her parents. Because if you're going to marry a snake, your family deserves to know it bites. Now, Ava's parents always acted like they were above it all, especially her mother, the type of woman who smiles while mentally editing your resume. They liked me when I was the quiet, reliable fiancé stable one, the one with a plan, a job, and no criminal record. Low bar, but it made them feel sophisticated by association. I didn't expect a response. Honestly, I just wanted them to see who their daughter was really shacking up with: a guy dumb enough to commit fraud on corporate servers. But I underestimated how fast shame travels in families like theirs. 2 days after the email, I got a message from an unknown number. The name popped up a second later: Ava's dad. I didn't answer, let it go to voicemail. He left a long message. Dry tone. He started with, "I know this is an awkward situation." Yeah, no kidding. And then he dropped the classic: "We had no idea what he'd gotten himself into." He said they were disappointed and embarrassed. Not angry, not surprised, embarrassed. That's how they talk when their reputation is on the line. It went viral at the company before noon. People didn't even bother pretending they weren't reading it at their desks. I got texts from people I hadn't spoken to in months. "Bro, is this real? Did you see this?" I played dumb. "Wow, no idea. That's crazy." All while sipping my coffee like a monk on a mountaintop. And the engagement party became a ghost town. Half the guests from the company had last-minute emergencies or changes of plans. Even a couple of wedding vendors canceled due to scheduling conflicts. Funny how that works when your name is trending on internal Slack channels next to words like embezzlement and audit. Then her mother called. Unlike her father, she didn't even try to pretend. She was furious. Not at me, her daughter. "You have humiliated this family," she screamed so loud the audio clipped on the recording. "Do you understand what you've done? We defended you. We supported you when you said he wasn't the one." That one stung. "He wasn't the one, huh?" So that's what she told them after she left Medhat. I was the problem. Cold, distant, married to my job. You know, the classics. He didn't make me feel alive. Her parents asked if there was any way to contain the damage. Those were their words, not help, not talk it out, but contain. I didn't respond, not out of spite. I just wanted them to sit in their own mess, to feel the chaos they helped justify, because yeah, they backed her. All those passive-aggressive comments at family dinners, the condescending questions about why there wasn't a wedding yet, the way they looked at Owen like he was a golden retriever with charm and ambition, when really he was just a fraud with a fake smile and empty spreadsheets. Now they get to watch that golden retriever pee on their rug and drag their family name straight into internal audit hell. Let them squirm. Let them explain to their wine club friends why their daughter lost her job, her partner, and her future all in a single fiscal quarter. I wasn't lifting a finger to help them clean up their image. I did my part. I told the truth. The rest is their mess. They can clean it up. And then came Monday morning. Owen got the dreaded email. Please report to HR. You know the kind formal tone, time-stamped, with compliance and legal CC'd. An investigation was launched immediately. HR swarmed. They started pulling access logs, billing histories, and Slack conversations. Within 2 weeks, they'd confirmed enough to terminate his contract with Coseno severance. No letter of recommendation. Legal sent him a notice. The company was suing for damages for financial misconduct. Civil litigation. Real court dates, real consequences. After Owen was escorted out of the building and legal notified him of the pending civil suit, I got a text message. Private number, unknown area code, but I knew exactly who it was. You think you're so smart? You're going to regret this. You think you won. I ignored it. One about my life. I'd already changed my main number, but my work line was still listed on some old forms. They must have dug it up. Then another message came, this time from Ava's number. Why would you do this? You're the one who got left. Get over it. You're obsessed. This isn't healthy. Do you need help? I replied. 2 days later, they started again, rapid-fire texts, the tone of clear desperation. Owen led with his usual fake bravado. You're not clean either, bro. Keep pushing and we'll talk. Your turn will come. People like you don't win. You're just the first to fall. And then Ava sent the real kicker. You think this is over? We're going to make sure you get what you deserve. That line, that was different. See, there's a legal difference between venting and threatening. And that crossed it. I don't play the victim, but I am smart. I forwarded every message, every timestamp, every interaction to my lawyer. I didn't even have to say much, just sent it with the subject line, harassment. Escalation post-exposure. In less than 48 hours, we drafted and delivered formal cease and desist letters to both of them. Clean language, just facts, effective immediately. All direct or indirect contact was to cease. Any further communication would be documented and prosecuted under California Civil Code Section 527.6 for harassment and Penal Code Section 653M for electronic threats. Any defamation or retaliation would result in immediate restraining orders and suits for libel. They were sent via certified mail and digital delivery with read receipts. They got the message because after that, total silence. No more angry texts, no cryptic posts, no fake accounts viewing my Instagram stories. They vanished like amateurs who finally realized they were playing chess against someone who had already planned every move 5 turns ahead. And Ava, she was gone before the ink was dry. She left him, took her things, vanished from his social media, and deleted the engagement post. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents and started looking for a job. She didn't just lose her fiancé, she lost her job, too. HR said it wasn't retaliation, just an internal restructuring due to the ongoing investigation. Right. By January, their power couple image was in pieces. Owen's reputation is shot. He applied to a few startups in the area, but word got around. No one wants to touch him now, not with that mess attached to his name. His LinkedIn profile went from open to opportunities to unemployed and making Canva graphics for fake projects. Meanwhile, I got promoted. They made it official the week after the investigation concluded. Senior project lead, bigger office, better salary, stock options. They even assigned me to the high-value client portfolio. And HR after the anonymous email? Nothing. They didn't call me in. No meetings, no investigations into me. My name wasn't mentioned. I didn't leave a single fingerprint, and I made sure of it. But people knew. Not the higher-ups, at least not officially. They were too busy pretending the system hadn't just face-planted in broad daylight. But the employees, my peers, they knew. The rumors started before noon. Did you see that email? Holy shit. Owen was stealing. Whoever found that deserves a raise. Nobody said my name, but they looked at me differently. The way you look at someone who pulls a sword from a stone and then goes back to typing like nothing happened. People would stop talking when I walked into the kitchen, like they were about to say something and then thought better of it. One analyst, a sharp kid from Boston, gave me a nod in the elevator one morning and just said, "Nice cleanup job." That was it. Just nice cleanup job. Like giving credit to a hitman who left no prints and not a drop of blood. Owen used to say he was the one holding everything together, and that was the beauty of it. I didn't get speeches or pats on the back, but I got something better: respect, silences that speak volumes, and room to breathe. Nobody cornered me with questions. Nobody tried to dig. They just let me work. And that's all I wanted. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Let the story spread through hallways and lunch tables like a legend. The only thing that mattered to me was that justice had a price, and I wasn't one of the casualties. I'm thriving. I got a new apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows and zero emotional clutter. I sleep better, eat better, think more clearly. I left behind every fake handshake and every backstab disguised as courtesy. I burned the bridge, and I'm building a penthouse with the ashes. The truth is, I don't care what you call it. What matters is that I protected my peace, handled it with precision, and let karma put on a suit and deliver the message. They say the best revenge is living well. I say it's the silence. Success just adds the subtitles. Owen was exposed. Ava vanished. I was promoted. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.